The next leg of expanding overseas is you got to worry about whether the infrastructure can even handle it. Can their ports, airports, power plants handle another business coming in? And is Brazil ready for that?
Brazil has a very large development bank called the BNDES, which actually has loaned more money in past years than the IMF or the World Bank itself. It's a very active pro-industrialist policy that they have. So from an infrastructure standpoint, even though they do need to invest fairly seriously in hydroelectric generation, they need more electrical capacity and more natural gas capacity in the country. All of those things are underway. The Port of Santos is one of the busiest in the region, and they have several other ports, but that handles most of their maritime ports. So I would say that right now they're in a reasonable position to absorb new investment and be able to handle that, and over time will become increasingly in a better position for that. So you're going to have more of a challenge probably with the bureaucracy and potential fraud and different types of challenges like that than you will on the infrastructure side.
But Brazil has technically entered a recession. How long do you think that's going to last?
Well, it was very severe in the fourth quarter of last year, apparently. It tipped very quickly and it had resisted for quite a while. But the first quarter numbers that came out recently showed that it was a very, very light, sort of less than 1% shrinkage in the first quarter. I haven't seen the second quarter numbers yet, but my guess is it would be sort of even, either a small loss even or a small growth. So most experts agree that Brazil will come out of the recession this year and possibly might even have a full year GDP growth rather than a loss. So the second half looks pretty promising.
What would be the single largest regulatory issue that anyone looking to expand in that area of the world would be dealing with right now?
Depending on the industry you're in, there's a fairly high concentration in the marketplace. So there are a few players that dominate a lot of the industries. So if you're trying to move into one of those industries, you might find that the regulatory environment actually works against you in terms of trying to be able to insert yourself into that market rather than working in favor of opening competition. Now, in fairness to Brazil, that's hardly the only country where that's the case. There are a lot of developed countries which are doing the exact same thing. We're sort of in the middle of a consolidation wave in many industries. That's probably the biggest challenge right now, I would say, if you were trying to go into Brazil.